Namaste.
Namaste. So, good afternoon, good evening, this glorious day. We're in that sweet spot of seasons, aren't we? Where it's just getting sunny and dry and all the goodness of the glory that we have in Oregon at this time of year. So thank you for coming and sacrificing the sunshine this evening. And welcome to Soul Talk with Jahdaa. I get to do it at White Soup Wednesdays. I also have the show format on KMUZ, which is 88.5 FM and 100.7 FM every Saturday night. This weekend I won't be there because heading up to Opal Creek with a few ladies from around here. Whoop, whoop. And we're going to retreat, which is really fun. And otherwise, the show itself is about being who you've come here to be, and do you know who you are? Just a couple simple questions, that's all. I really wanted to know a few years ago, I wasn't even sure what the heck I was doing here on this earth. I don't know if anybody else goes through that or has a question, but I surely did. Ew, I just touched the microphone, but whatever. With my mouth. And I started asking people, are you doing what you've come here to do? Do you even like yourself, And different people would share with me, well, yeah, okay, well, what's your secret? Because I'm not there yet. But I knew I could be. If that person could, and they're a reflection of me, of course, that's for me too. So I started asking people. And I asked them in the format of my radio show every week. So I would have all kinds of people. If I could see somebody, usually it's musicians and artists who are doing what they love, usually. They just have this certain something about them that they've tapped into their creative source and their co-creation with spirit, and they're really doing it. And so I figured that it would be a good place to start. So I started interviewing a lot of musicians. And then authors came about, and spiritual leaders came about, and little kids came about. They're the ones that really know what's up, They really know who they are. I want to be a fireman. Of course you do. That's awesome. The element of fire, or I want to be a nurse, the element of nurturing and bodhisattva or bodhicitta. So here we are. And thank you for joining us today. Devi is my guest tonight. What is your last name these days? Hart. Devi Hart. Beautiful.
Thank you.
Welcome.
So I wanted to be a cop when I grew up.
Nice.
And I did.
Did you? Mm-hmm. Let's start there. What drew you to want to be an officer?
Well, I was always brought up that cops were your friends. If you needed help, you would look for someone in uniform. And I felt a calling to help people. I had been a paramedic overseas, and I came back to the United States, and I wanted to pursue law enforcement, and I've always been in public service of one sort or another. That's where my home is.
So was it like a feeling that came from inside when you were little, like you were just wildly attracted to that? No? Just a decision?
Yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah, I wasn't wildly attracted. In fact, I'm still not attracted to people in uniform per se.
It could be hot.
What?
It could be kind of hot, though. Men in uniform or ladies in uniform,
Yeah, but I'm already a lady who was in uniform, so a guy in uniform is no big deal to me.
Okay, got it. Well, like attracts like.
Now, a lawyer, with a suit and a tie, maybe.
That's a uniform?
That could be.
There you go.
Yeah.
It's awesome. So in regard to any kind of archetype, are you familiar with the archetypes? How does that play into the cop thing?
Well, maybe Archangel Michael, who's the protector that we go to when we feel we need protection. Just being someone there to calm situations, to diffuse situations so that people can take a breath and then go back to who they really are and not squabbling over the little or big whatever it is that they decided was more important than who they authentically are.
I've seen you in action. I've seen you anchor a room.
Oh, really?
When there's been a lot of grief or just a lot of excitement with your calm nature. We had a moment to talk before you came up here, and I was mentioning that about doing what we've come here to do, or being who we've come here to be. And you said you're like, I don't really haven't figured it out, kind of. What do you think about that? You've lived a certain amount of time on this earth.
Right.
You've experienced a ton of stuff.
68 years, and usually every 8 years I change my career, except I've been a minister for 18 years now.
Beautiful. What is your ministry?
Inner Quest Metaphysical Foundation is who ordained me, and my ministry pretty much is I like to work with seniors and convalescent homes where people are forgotten. No one goes to visit grandma anymore because she's not going to give you $10 for your date or for your next joint, if that's what a joint costs today. But
I wouldn't know.
I don't know. But it's those people that are shut in that stay in bed and don't really look at the world anymore, but they're still alive. And I can share with you an example if you'd like. I was just starting this, and I had worked with service dogs as a trainer of service dogs and a tester of service dogs. And so we developed a social therapy program where we'd go, the dogs that passed would go into senior homes. And I went into a senior home, and I'm like a puppy going from room to room saying hi to people and grabbing a new clean sheet for each one so that I don't contaminate anybody. And I wind up in this room that has like 4 beds in it, and the nurses come running in after I'm there and say, oh, he hasn't said anything for 3 years. And I said, okay. Is he quarantined? No. I said, okay, fine. Let's let the dog sit here and see what happens. And so I go to the next one, and I get the same routine, and I go to the third one, and the third one pipes up a little bit. At least I get some grunting, and then I sort of like gently get escorted out by the nurses, because like I'm giving these people too much attention. I mean, they don't respond to them. Why should they respond to me? Well, my dogs wore nail polish, and the reason why they wore nail polish was because it covered the dirty parts on their nails, so it gave them more cleanliness. And I had a female dog, and it wore hot pink nail polish. Hot pink was not in at the time, okay, but I found the hottest, obnoxious color you could find. I didn't wear it, but the dog did. And so I went there the third time, and the guy says to me, what the hell's that dog wearing nail polish for? That was the first time he had spoken to anyone in 3 years. Sweet. And I still get goosebumps when I think of that.
Thank you.
That's why I'm here.
Aw, thank you. It's so sweet.
To remember the forgotten.
Yeah. That's very precious.
I think so.
I know that my mom she's 70
something.
She'll be 73 in December. And she talks about that once you get to a certain age, people seem to be, she feels invisible. It was about 65, 66. Nobody wants your advice. Nobody needs you anymore. You're not useful, which isn't true. It's her feeling and perception. Now, I have visited some places like nursing homes and what they call convalescent centers, and I noticed that not many people get touched. And as a massage therapist, I know important. People are skin-starved. We need touch. And I remember a man who I had met, and we had a really long conversation. I actually found him passed out on the grass. And so I was stopping to see if he was still alive, if we needed medical care, but we ended up having a long conversation. And after a while, he was able to stand up, and we hugged. And he said, this is the first hug I've had in 26 years. Can you imagine?
Isn't that sad?
I can't even
fellow
imagine.
Human beings, that this can exist.
It just shocked me.
Right.
I was like, like, are you lying to me? But truly, it was for whatever reason. And I was like, holy crap, like this really does exist. But just thinking about like being a part of the solution feels overwhelming to me. So how do you work with that? Is it one person at a time, or do you have an organization of people who help you?
Up here in Oregon, I'm not connected yet, and I'm still organizing things, and I'm starting to write a book on seniors and their brain cognition and keeping that alive. And so I'm doing a lot of research for that. So when I'm ready, I'll stand up and I'll call the state board and find out what I legally have to do, because I did this before you needed to have security clearances, before Homeland Security existed. So I didn't have those issues. And also I was in law enforcement, so I already had a security clearance that was kept up to date. So when the time's right, I'll call the Secretary of State here and find out what I have to do. And then I'll probably go to 2 or 3 senior centers or convalescent homes, and I will offer my services free. And if they need to do a background exam, maybe all 3 of them or 4 of them can get together so that they're not doing it 4 times, so that they save on money and, are more eager to participate if they know that this one and this one's doing it and they're competitors.
I'm going to send my mom your way.
Okay.
I think you guys would buddy up really well.
Okay.
She's all into that stuff.
Good.
Yeah, it's pretty cool.
Yeah.
Well, that's fantastic. That's important work. A friend of mine, actually my old treatment counselor, she's in her mid-60s, and she said, would you be willing to open a retirement center for old recovery counselors? She said, but you can't go to Al-Anon because I won't co-sign them if I do, I guess. Anyway, it's a joke, I guess, but it's kind of funny. All right, carry on. So you said you've done a ton of stuff every 8 years within 68 years' time.
Right.
You always wanted to be a cop. You did that. Are there other professions that you...
Well, I got injured, so I couldn't be a cop anymore. And then I became a massage therapist in the state of California, yes. And I enjoyed that for about 5 years. I opened a center similar to this, not as large as this. It was inside our house with my ex-husband, and we had a nonprofit status and did twice a week meetings. We always fed the people that came. We didn't pass judgment on who came and what they were wearing or they weren't wearing. And we listened to everyone. We sat in a circle, and everyone got, the clock may run out on a couple of them, but we pretty much listened to everybody, what they had to say, what their intentions were, what they wanted, so that they would focus on what they wanted. And if they had a talent that somebody else might need in exchange for their talent, or someone might have an extra tomato plant and decide to bring it next week because Sally didn't have her tomatoes come up this year. So we did that twice a week, and
so more anchoring, more connecting, more networking. So you're kind of a root girl.
I don't really feel like I connect people well. I'm like, there's no marketing or sales in me type of thing. So I feel like I'm void or not up to speed where I should be, if one had a should be, as far as that goes. But yeah, I talk to people in the grocery store. I'm one of those old gray-haired ladies. And
well, you have purple hair, dude. like I would talk to you too.
Well, I used to wear my hair down a lot, and some reason at the dairy counter, people would just, seniors usually, in both sexes, would just come up and start petting my head. And it's like, nobody said you could do that. You're violating my airspace here.
The dairy section. Interesting.
I don't know why. I guess it took a longer time at the yogurt and they could catch up to me or something. I don't know.
That's awesome.
But the purple hair is interesting in that I did that intentionally because, as you said, your I believe mom even said that as she got older, she noticed that she became more invisible. Well, I noticed I was becoming invisible, and people sometimes were commenting, teenagers usually, about, look at that old lady type of thing. So when I dyed my hair purple, they wanted to talk to me. So now I'm engaging in conversations with people on a random basis that I ordinarily would not have the exposure to, and they want to talk to me. If for no other reason, they want to know why an old lady like you with such long hair would dye it purple. And then that usually starts well, what do you think of this? Or what do you think of that? Or something that maybe they don't want to ask their parents, or a political view that maybe their parents won't talk politics or spiritualism, or, so I'm open to any of that.
That's very cool. So you took one for the team.
I don't know. I like the purple.
I love it.
Pretty. I like the deeper purple.
I do too. It's just brilliant on you as well. It's a really nice color for you.
Thank you. I think this is the last time I'm going to have it this color, though, because I've been there, done that.
Hot pink.
No.
That'd be awesome.
Peacock color, maybe.
Ooh, that would be cool.
Yeah.
Nice. A big peacock feather in your hair.
Wouldn't that be neat?
Oh, yeah. That's cool.
Just really stenciled in a peacock feather, so that when my hair's combed and back, that
It'll look
on
like
the
it.
side, there's a peacock feather.
That would be
cool.
sweet. We've got to find somebody to do that for you.
Okay.
Nice.
After I get my passport renewed.
Oh.
I don't want that on my passport.
That'd be kind of cool. Memorialized, at least. How sweet. So you became a massage therapist, and that was after being an officer, massage therapist, and then you did some other stuff, and then fast forward into Oregon?
Well, when I did the massage therapy, as you know, some things come out when you're working on different parts of people's body. And my teacher encouraged us to become, I don't know what it's called, life something ministers, Church of Life or something in Modesto. And so my husband and I went down there, and we thought, okay, we'll sign up for a class and da-da-da-da. And they just handed you their version of the Bible and said, sign and swear this and you are a minister. And I said, no, I've been studying ministerial books for 2 years now. I had a mentor from the Inner Quest Metaphysical Foundation, and that wasn't going to do it for me. So I finished another 2 years and became an Inner Quest Metaphysical minister.
What does the word minister mean to you?
It means I am present for the other person, whoever I'm speaking. It's sort of like when I hear my name, Devi, which means goddess of compassion. So whoever said that to me, I'm supposed to listen to them and be compassionate with them. And it's the same as with a minister. There's no difference really for me.
How lovely. And I know that I met you through Unity. It was at yes, and I think I met you first in was it Mount Angel? When we did a little gathering over there?
Yes, that was the first time, yes.
That was very lovely. I love it out there anyway. And then later on, actually saw you at the church. But that was really great to be able to connect with you there. And it just seems like a natural fit that you would be a chaplain. It's part of the same, right?
Yeah.
That's fabulous.
Yeah.
So what are you doing these days? What are you up to?
I'm doing research on that book that I mentioned. I'm cleaning up crystals and making them all sparkly for our solstice gathering and sale. And I'm looking to sell my beaded jewelry. I have beaded rings and bracelets, and you being part Native American know about the peyote stitch, and so I have some of the things to do in the Russian stitch and things like that. And,
Beautiful.
definitely not letting any grass grow under my feet. I have redwood trees along the house. Grass doesn't grow anyway because the soil's too acidic.
That's awesome. Yummy. Redwood. That's great. And what is your role here in the center?
Wherever I can fit in. That's important to me. If I see a need, I try and take care of what the need is. I try and greet people. Some people became jealous of me at Unity when I was a greeter because evidently I was so successful. Too many people came in my door. So I got told that.
Did you get the Safeway door?
No, not the Safeway door, but I guess the main door by the control panel or whatever that thing's called. And so I was banned from doing that for a while. And I decided, bad girl, greeting people, giving them a hug, asking them for a hug or a handshake. What do you want, I mean, so invasive. But someone else had the job before me, and he was in an accident, and he got jealous that I was so successful in his absence. But I didn't know him at the time or really after. And so when I got here, I decided I'm not going to be the greeter. It's not going to happen again. If I'm not the greeter, then you can't scold me that I'm too good a greeter. So I just make sure that the cups are all out, if we need tables that they're out, if something needs repairing, I try and do that. That type of thing, wherever I fit in.
Awesome. Isn't that interesting how I know we all have choice, but it's curious. I know that when I've experienced that too, where I've had what I consider an adverse experience, it doesn't feel good. It feels icky.
Right.
It challenges my self-importance or whatever it does for me. And then my next experience is based on that. And I consider that there are two ways that I walk through life. One is through memory, which would be that, and the other is inspiration. And it's one or the other. And if I can heal the memory part of it, then I can always be listening to the inspiration, because usually there's not much room for both.
Right.
One, it always takes precedence.
And if you're in memory, you're more inclined to just repeat it again.
Yes, the loop.
Even though you're trying to stay away from it, it's like, do I have this thing on my forehead that attracts it, type of thing?
Oh, yeah.
So I'm very conscious of trying, to accept responsibility for myself as to what happens to me myself.
Right.
That I have done this.
Right.
The other person may have been what I call an actor in the scenario, but that doesn't mean they're not causing harm to me, because I have the right to say, you can't cause me harm.
Right. And you said
And stand in that.
Yes, and that's very powerful. I use the word actor, and I notice that when I act on so much memory, it becomes quite staged.
Oh, really?
Quite staged in my memory, and that's the way it is. And I can tell the same story over and over again with this very same outcome, and the same players will show up in different form,
Right.
like, as you mentioned, and then I get bored. I don't know if it's a Gemini thing, but I get very bored with the same story. And I usually don't notice it's boring until I keep getting the same adverse things, but my spirit wants to grow. My spirit wants to grow and be all grown up. My inner adult wants to come out.
Right.
And wants to experience this on a different level. And yet I still have my inner child thing going on with the memory. But no, I'm going to stand here and I'm going to be attacked. I'm going to feel bad about myself because I was told something else. And yet my inner adult's going, oh, honey, you're so done with that story. Like, come on. let's go over here. Let's experience this, something you had never even imagined.
Right.
Because my imagination is glorious as it is and grandiose, it's also very limited in comparison of what's out there.
A lot of people say that there's only one thing you can count on, and they say change. And I say there's two. There's spirit or the divine, or however you want to express that, and change. And to embrace the change is to embrace every day. Otherwise, I went about 5 years waking up in a motorhome every day, and I'd say, oh God, I'm still alive. When am I going to die? Really? Another day in the motorhome. Well, to a lot of people, that was luxury living, okay? To me, it took me away from my friends. It took me away from what mattered to me, the things that I could do. So it wasn't. But since I've been coming here, and since I've been focusing on the good aspects and not reliving the past, you've got three choices. You've got the past, the present, and the future. And if you're in the future or the past, you're not in the present. So being in the present is important to me.
Indeed.
So now I wake up and go, okay, what's next?
Oh, what else
What
is
am I gonna do
possible,
today?
universe?
If nothing is on my schedule, then what am I going to do today?
Nice. You've really made a quite, do we dare say, miraculous? There's something, a physical transformation that I have witnessed in you.
Okay.
There was a time when you weren't getting around very well.
Oh.
And it wasn't that long ago.
No, it wasn't.
I would say within a year. Within a year, even. Interesting.
I was using a walker. And then you'll have to help me with the names. Unity, the founders of Unity.
Myrtle.
And
Charles Fillmore.
Right. Georgie Richardson was our minister at Unity, and she gave a talk about Myrtle and how Myrtle meditated. And that weekend, I had my husband go help me load a recliner into the house and put it in a special room, and I had special CDs, and I meditated on being healthy and getting off. I was on terrible medicine. I was on medicine that still I don't remember the peyote stitch. Now that you and I learned at like 4 years old, that's our first stitch, right, after the chain stitch. But I did that over and over and over again. And in about 3 months, I was to a cane. And then about 6 months, the cane, I only use the cane now if I may have to sit and wait in the checkout stand. I'll bring the cane so I can sit. But otherwise, no. Sometimes I limp a little bit, and I'm down to 1 dose of the smallest amount of medicine per night. And that's only so that I can get up out of bed at night. In the morning, rather.
Isn't that amazing?
Yeah, it's just the belief that this is going to happen.
Yes.
Yes.
I agree.
And I want it to happen. And if Myrtle could do it, by God, I can do it.
That's right. And a lot of folks, you're talking about the people who are of a certain generation, and we are learning about beliefs in the seminary program. And the great study they did about the ageism, about aging in general, that was really great reading.
Well, you're going to be reading more about that because I'm going to be teaching a class actually on that for new ministers.
Right on, Donkey Kong.
Yeah.
That's awesome. I think that sometimes collectively, the collective energy is that when we get to a certain place, even people in my generation, I'm about to be 46, and even people, I know, I feel like I'm 20 still, I swear it, with a little bit more wisdom. And when I think of even people of my generation, I hear them say, oh, I'm getting old. I'm like, seriously? Like, that is so interesting to me. It's the language that we use. There was
It's expected of us.
It's expected.
And I'm going to change that.
Amen. Do it. It's done.
We're not going to be old old. We're going to become youthful and vibrant and full of wisdom.
Yes. I feel like those things that when I say I'm going to be, I say I'm already there. My body's just catching up to it. I'm already healed. My body's just catching up to it because I'm a dense energy in this system. It's a denser energy than my thought or my inspiration or my hope or my intention. But my vision is very real to me. And what I see of my physical form, it is, sometimes I can actually feel what that feels like to be of a whole and fully full of nutrients and of the original DNA, completely healed. And I know that over time it will, and it can be like this too. I don't have to put a time limit on it. It could be like I wake up tomorrow and go, oh dang, this is amazing. I feel incredible and I'm completely healed.
So far I found that the more we actually use our body, the longer our brain stays functioning very well. And the more you switch up what you do. So if you get up every morning and you go get your cup of coffee and you open the curtains and you take the dog out and you do it in that routine, that's aging you. Okay. Switch it up.
Maybe that's why. I used to tell people I used to move every year.
Okay.
Or change a job every year. Massage therapy I've been doing for 10 years. It's the longest career profession thing I've ever done. But I have a lot of variety within that. I love doing a lot of different things. I thrive on variety. So I'm going to go back and tell the people who say, oh my God, you're so fickle, that, hey, I'm not aging.
Right.
That's all.
Exactly. And that's important.
We said so.
Because when you're a massage therapist, you become in tune with the person that you're working with. So someone can say, oh, my back hurts. And I'll go, oh, right above your belt? Yeah, how did you know? I don't even have to touch them. I just sort of let spirit work its magic. Sometimes through me, sometimes with the assistance of me, however you want to put it. I'm not attached to that label. I am of service. And when I find those different spots, and now it's not massage therapy, but when I find those different spots in society, that's what I thrive off of. That's what keeps me youthful. That's what has me talk to teenagers that, are grumbling because their mom won't let them whatever type of thing.
That's beautiful.
Thank you.
You're welcome. I have a teacher who was talking to me about a couple of times women who were in their 60s, early 70s would approach me. It was 3 different times within a really short amount of time. And they approached me and they said, I feel like I really need to apologize to you. And it's like, Well, the first time I was like very curious. The second time I was annoyed, and the third time I was amused. But and they would apologize profusely with tears in their eyes and say, "Oh my God, I'm so sorry. I judged you so harshly. I really thought you were something else." And I was like, I wonder what that is about. I kind of had that. Isn't that interesting? And finally, I was able to ask the third one what that really was about for her, and it was her own judgment of tattoos or dreadlocks or having having birthed 7 children. Oh, beautiful, nice. And so I thought it was very curious. And again, the first time I was like offended, like, oh my God, I'm not acceptable. The second time I was getting worse off with the, oh my God, see, I'm not acceptable. I'm not okay with me. I don't even like myself anyway. And of course, they don't like me either. I should change what I am. I should hide myself. I shouldn't be who I am. What was I thinking? Being authentic. I should go back to the box. I should go work for the state again. I should. And then, but the third time I was like, I cannot help but be me, no matter what. But it was I was drawing that into myself because I didn't really like myself.
Right, that's how you felt. Yeah. And that's what came to you.
Exactly. Nor did I feel comfortable in my skin. And nor did I really, really claim. And who cares what I look like? Honest to God, Goddess, Creator, it doesn't matter. It matters if I like me.
Right.
And today I do, and my life has changed completely. completely, of course, over the last even 5 years. It's been a complete difference. But I think that it's been really great to get to know people like yourself and others who I get to have a very public yet intimate conversation with. And that's a one-on-one. It's a way of service, a way of using voice, a way of using our curiosity and being transparent in certain ways. So I really appreciate that you're able to do that and that you are so accepting of people.
And I appreciate that in you too, because you're the epitome of that. I mean, you're always gracious. You're always saying hello to people. You're always helping people.
Thank you.
You know, you're wonderful.
Thank you.
Have great ideas, and I'm excited to be here with you.
Me too. This is a love fest.
Yeah,
I call this the massive love letting. It's a massive love letting. Stay around. You're gonna get infected. Well, do you feel complete today? Is there anything else? Wait, are you still needing help at your booth on Solstice?
No.
Okay.
Patricia gave me the name of someone, and
Okay.
I called that person, and we haven't met yet, but I intend on having her up next week.
Okay.
And I'm setting up a mock table in my living room so that, she has some sort of idea, because she's
That's
not in
smart.
sales. She's not in
Nice.
sales and hasn't done it before.
She's gonna rock it.
And I hope so, because
Nice.
if I'm doing animal communication, I cannot do selling, beadwork and crystals. I would be unfair to whatever I was doing, because I would be diverted too thinly. So, yes, I'm a little not anxious, not nervous. I'm a little unsure of what that's going to look like, and I'm not going to attach too much to it at all.
Well, any way we can support you.
Thank you.
Is there anything else you want to share about how people can get a hold of you? How any kind of community stuff going on that you want to support, or events?
You can get a hold of me. I have my business cards are just about anywhere. I'm Diadevi at diadevi.com. That's not a website anymore. That's just an email, because my website got taken down and it hasn't been replaced. And I don't really miss it, so I'm not going to spend a bunch of money replacing it. And my phone number is 503-560-1027.
Perfect. Thank you.
That's it.
Do you feel complete?
Yeah, I'm fine.
As Patricia would say, if that's okay, let's take a deep breath. Sending lots of love to Patricia tonight.
Absolutely.
I see her well. Whichever way and however this is serving the greater purpose, that it manifests quickly and resolution is found now. Thank you so much to everyone.